It's nice to see you all, and thank you so much for coming. And welcome to USF Sarasota Manatee. We're delighted to host this event this morning. It's really an honor for us to have representatives from all of our institutions of higher education and our community foundations with us today. As some of you may already know, we've been working together for over a year to explore ways that we can collaborate and brand the area as college-centric. And we're really excited to have gotten to this point in our evolution. So before we get started, I wanted to just let you know the structure of today's press conference. Dr. Larry Thompson, the president of Ringling College of Art and Design, will speak on behalf of the colleges and universities. And then each of the presidents of the foundations represented here will speak. And then we will open it up for about 10 minutes of questions and answers. So that's sort of the format that will follow. And let me just take a minute to introduce you to everybody who's here behind me. Mark Pritchett, the president and CEO of the Gulf Coast Community Foundation. Mark. Roxy Jurdy, the president and CEO of the Community Foundation of Sarasota County. Terry Hansen, president and CEO of the Charles and Marjorie Barancik Foundation. Dr. Larry Thompson, president of Ringling College of Art and Design. Behind me. Dr. Donald O'Shea, president of New College of Florida. Dr. Carol Probstfeld, president of State College of Florida. Nobody, in case you didn't notice. And Stephen High, executive director of the Ringling. So at this point, I'd like to turn this over to Dr. Larry Thompson, and we'll get started.
Thank you, Sandra. Good morning, everybody. Oh, great. You got some real energy in here. That's really great. This is a great day. We appreciate you all being here. It's really wonderful to have you here. I'm just going to take a few minutes to speak on behalf of my colleagues, the college presidents, regarding this exciting new initiative called the Consortium of the Colleges on the Creative Coast. Okay? Consortium of the Colleges on the Creative Coast. Okay? C4, okay, is the nickname. So who that includes is there are 6 institutions. So it's Ringling College, it's New College, University of South Florida, Sarasota Manatee, State College of Florida with the scarf, Florida State University through the Ringling, and Eckerd College. I guess I was sort of chosen to speak because I'm the old guy. I'm the real veteran among these college presidents. Now, although this consortium is relatively new, it's in part a resurrection of something that was started a number of years ago. Some of you may remember Innovation 41. Anybody remember Innovation 41? Yeah, there are a few of us in the room. Now, in that situation, we basically had the same sort of institutions who were working together with the city and the county, but its primary purpose was about redeveloping the North Trail. And so what has happened is we've had a lot of changes in leadership among the college presidents. In fact, almost all of them here are fairly new. And so we have now decided to change the entire focus to make it much more broad. And that's the reason why we ended up creating this consortium. Although the consortium was actually formally started about 2 years ago, this announcement is the beginning of a much more formal phase as we move forward. Thanks to the generous support of the foundations that Sandra mentioned, Gulf Coast and the Sarasota Community Foundation and the Barancik Foundation, they have really stepped forward to help make this consortium a reality. So we're really pleased to make this announcement because it's a manifestation of this new era of collaboration in the Sarasota Manatee area. Think about it. We have 3 major foundations in this community collaborating together to fund collaboration among 6 different institutions. Okay? Yeah. Now, Donald, you're the mathematician. Maybe that's collaboration squared, okay? Maybe that's collaboration squared. So, in any event, this collective support of the 3 foundations will enable the consortium to implement some various ideas and plans that we've had. And the first part is actually resulted in the hiring of Lori Stryker as the initiative manager for the consortium. Now, as most of you know, Lori Stryker is the former chancellor of the University of South Florida, Sarasota Manatee, and we are incredibly delighted to have her on board, whip and all, to make certain that we presidents work together on this consortium and actually implement a lot of the ideas that we have. Now, this couldn't come at a more opportune time because each of the 6 institutions have been thought of separately. You know, everybody thinks of the institutions individually. This consortium gives us a chance, and the community a chance, to change that paradigm. To change that paradigm and think of us holistically. Think of us as a whole. Donald is the one who had used the term, or maybe coined the term, I don't know. It's like a multiversity, okay? Multiversity. So, and it's with the strength of like having a major research institution here in the Sarasota Manatee area. Now, combined, we already have about almost 20,000 students who will be returning to our campuses next week. And with the programming we will potentially offer through cross-registration, co-branding, and so on and so forth, I think our region will continue to flourish and thrive and become known for its higher education, as being a higher education center and a destination for higher education in the Southeast. The consortium is inspired by the shared expertise that exists among our institutions. Each of us have individual missions and individual focuses in terms of what we do. And that's what is great because we're not competitive at all. We each have our own specialties, expertise, and so we're able to work much more readily in concert together. And now with this launch of C4, we have the incredible opportunity to promote and expand regional economic development. Of course, you know, having an incredible workforce is one of the key things that the economic development leaders really strive for because of the fact that so many businesses who are interested in coming to this area, that's one of the first questions they ask, is about what is your workforce like and what kind of higher education institutions do you have? Now they can show it in the holistic way. Now, without question, the potential is beyond great, and I know Lori will steer this ship with steadfast, very steadfast. Where are you, Lori? There you are. And creative vision, because it is the Creative Coast. So I'm going to stop there and turn the stage over to our generous foundation leaders, and then we'll be happy to answer any further questions. So let me bring to the podium Mark Pritchett, the president of the Gulf Coast Community Foundation. Mark.
Thank you, and good job, Larry, for defining the history of that. I'm going to tell a little bit more about what actually happened a couple of years ago, and then I want to talk about really how we see the impact of this, and then finally I want to compliment Lori on her leadership here. First of all, the story is that about 2 years ago when we had a big transition in university presidents and college presidents in the area, Larry and Terry Hansen were having dinner, and they said, hey, maybe you guys need to get together in a retreat and start talking about it. So Terry came to me and said, you need to find the money for this. And so the dutiful senior VP, I found the money for it, and we went to our board, and they thought it was a great idea to have all the university presidents and college presidents get together and talk about what they could do. And then that first year was so successful that they said, hey, let's do this again. So the board said, are we just funding a junket every year for these university presidents, or are they really going to do something? And we said, trust us. We really think something's going to happen here. And sure enough, the second year they got together and they actually expanded their group to deans, at the colleges and the deans. You know, you got to get the deans on board. The deans aren't on board, nothing will happen. So the deans got on board and some of the administrators, and they said, yeah, we can make some of these things work together. So then Terry, Donald and Larry reported back to us and said, well, we have a great thing going on here, and we'd like to expand this and make this a regular thing going on into the future. And so they came to us, or came to Terry actually, and said, would Gulf Coast fund this? And Terry, in her brilliance, said, you know, this is really so important to our region that we need to expand this to other foundations and give them the opportunity to joint fund this together. And so at that time, Terry was my boss, and then she left and took a better offer, I think. Don't tell her. And I have the best job now. But anyway, we decided jointly to meet with the other foundations, and then Roxy so generously stepped up. So we were excited to joint fund this and we'll really have a joint success in this whole venture. The second thing I want to expound on very quickly is this whole concept of all these resources coming together. Someone came to me, I think it was Donald or Larry, said, if you put all these pieces together, you almost have a Research One university here. And that's pretty impressive. It's not quite a Research One university for where we have a lot of doctoral granting programs, but the quality of the faculty and the programs here all put together provides us a great economic development opportunity. And to brand this consortium as an opportunity of showing the business world that we're all working together is a key ingredient to workforce development in our region. So kudos to the university presidents for really seeing that opportunity. And the last thing I want to say very briefly is when Larry and Donald and the group came to us and they said, you know, who could really help push this, the first person in my mind that came up was Laurie Stryker. I've known Laurie for 25 years. I knew her in Tallahassee when I was at the Florida Chamber, and she was in Betty Castor's cabinet, and we worked together on a lot of different things. And then her leadership blossomed down here as the president down here. So it was just a no-brainer for us to suggest Laurie as a consultant. And we're so happy, Laurie, that you stepped up. So thank you very much. So now I'm going to invite Roxy Jurdy to come up, and a co-funder, and we're real excited to have Roxy on board with us. Thank you.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone. I was thinking, as we have a new year, aren't we filled with hope and possibilities? And to start the new year off with this great opportunity and possibilities for our region is really exciting. I commend Gulf Coast and Mark and Terry for getting this started. And we had a conversation over drinks, so I think there's meals involved here somehow on would we want to be part of this. And as we talked with our board, they thought, yes, this is a great opportunity to be part of a partnership that really brings great possibility and promise for our region. We at the Community Foundation of Sarasota County have individually supported all of these institutions, and this opportunity to support them jointly was really a wonderful opportunity for us to be part of this with our funding partners as well. We've also funded millions of dollars of scholarships for local students to attend these institutions. So now to have the institutions working together, and some of the promise is being able to enroll across institutions for taking advantage of the curriculum that each of them are offering. So as we looked at not only the workforce development of our talented students that are here and the attraction, hopefully, for more businesses to want to be part of our region, knowing that we're a lot more than tourism. We have great arts, but also higher education as well. So when you put all of that together, the promise is so wonderful. The other reason I was excited, there's a real opportunity for a term I wasn't familiar with, but applied research. How can we use the talent at these institutions to help solve some of our community problems? We have worked with some of the institutions on the Suncoast campaign for grade level reading. We're going to have every third grader reading at the third grade level by the end of third grade. But just think of the opportunity with this talent and working together to really strengthen our region. So we're very proud and pleased that we're part of this multiple partnership here. And we look forward in, 2-3 years, we get together again and we're going to celebrate some big successes. So thank you all for being here. We're delighted to be part. Thanks. To introduce Terry Hansen. She's the president and CEO of the Brancic Foundation. Terry.
Thank you, Roxy and Mark. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be the cleanup hitter or they save the best for last. But thank you all for being here today. It's an important day in our community, and you all obviously share our passion for education. Excuse me. When I lived in Shaker Heights, Ohio, the city had signs all over it, and it said, "A community is known by the schools it keeps." A community is known by the schools it keeps. And I thought how true that is, and how especially true it is when it comes to higher education and economic development. We have representatives from our 2 EDCs, Manatee, Sharon, raise your hand, and someone from Sarasota, Jennifer, thank you. That's the help that the macro part of our education system does, and then the micro is in the families and the individuals who receive that education. So when I was talking to Mark and Roxy, I said, this is a no-brainer, absolutely no-brainer for us to get together and work with these colleges. Now, Mark did ask me to make a correction in facts. He's very fact-oriented. While Larry and I have shared many evening meals together, bottles and cans included, this was a breakfast with Donald when he first came here. And we were at First Watch downtown Sarasota, and he said, it's kind of interesting. It seems like really the only way we share as colleges is we give each other tickets to our galas. And he said, I think we can do something more. So we seized on that opportunity, and here we are today. And at the Brancic Foundation, we like to invest in talent because it's talent that gets things done. It's people. It's you all in this room caring about education that'll make things happen in our community. So it was a no-brainer, again, when we asked Lori Stryker to be the talent to work with the presidents and the foundations to move this C4 initiative along. And with that, I would like to introduce Lori Stryker. And while she's walking up, before I get lectured when I get back to my office by Kelly Romanoff, I'd like to acknowledge Charlie Husking. Thank you, Charlie, for coming today. He is a board member of the Brancic Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry, and for all the confidence that's been shown for me to come and work with this very important initiative. Sometimes the stars really do align, and I really think that they have in this case. The presidents came together with their campus leaders and carved out time, and time I'm sure they really did not have, to forge a vision and big ideas that will maximize the benefits to students and the community of having their 4 unique institutions and 6 unique institutions in our midst. They were ready to take those ideas to action, and that's where the foundations came in, because they joined forces to support them, and here we are today. I am very proud to join the C4 team, and I'm grateful to be part of it. It's a collaboration, I believe, that we will look back to and say that it made a significant difference to our community, to our employers, to our kids, and to our families. But it will take every area leader to optimize its results. And it's just wonderful to see the economic development leaders here with with the chambers and the EDCs and Senator Dietert, who is economic leader in our state legislature and our state senate. So that's very heartening. But it will take every community leader to maximize the results. And the foundation partnership announced here today really exemplifies that strategic support. So thank you. My role now is to take questions and to field them to the right people on the panel. So we have some minutes for taking some questions now. So if you would please use the microphone and when it comes to you, so you could please wait for it to come to you. So questions, comments, memorials. Yes. If you just wait for the. And if you'd give us your name just so it would help us.
I'm Dean Eisner.
Okay.
My question is, if you look 5 years from now and we're all together and you're reciting some of the things that you would find that this consortium put together that were accomplishments or well on its way, what would you hope those would be?
Let me ask Dr. O'Shea to speak to that.
So I think there's been a lot of talk in higher ed about disruption and changes coming. I think looking ahead 5 years, we've got something here that's got a sort of an amazing academic presence, amazing potential in the community. The community has so much resources in terms of the arts, in terms of research organizations, in terms of startups, and also in terms of people. I think looking back from 5 years, we should have a new model, in a way, for higher education, and for those universities together. We have so much more. This sort of dispersed research, one university or multiversity, whatever we want to call it. I think we'll see students with many, many more options. I think we'll see integration of a lot of back office type things will be much more robust. I think we'll see much more ability to have students work in research, to have them work in social issues. This community, our communities are, they're wonderful. There's an awful lot of inequality. We can have students work on that. I think 5 years from now, we will, hopefully, people will be pointing to us as a new sort of 21st century model, one that's much better than the Claremonts or five colleges, because it really encapsulates everything that students might want to do, and that supplies the workforce of the area and of the nation. So, and we would like to, as we reduce the barriers for students and for faculty, we would also like to, in the same way, have involved many more of the research organizations and the startups in town. So I guess I see enormous promise, and we won't entirely know, but I'm hoping 5 years hence, people will point to it and go, that's real. We want to do that elsewhere in this country. And we'll be pointing to, the United States has always led in higher education. There's some stumbles, but I think they'll be going, this is the new 21st century model. This is really going to put us on the map.
I can see the benefits to the universities. What about the practicality of the students? Are you saying that they can sign up at State College of Florida, and if there's a great one-time only thing going on at New College, they can take that class? From a practical standpoint, are you going to have transferable credits and amongst all of you, or is this just logistics? So,
no, yes. Any student at any one of our institutions should be able to take courses at any other institution on a space available basis, no money changing hands, for credit at their own institution. So, it would be and we've piloted this, you know, and it's been successful. There are logistical matters to be overcome, but it seems that the principle is clear. And I don't want to hog the mic.
Carol, because I think you've got the most students.
Well, sure. Exactly what you're saying, that's the plan. We would like for students who choose to come to school in this area or who live here and would like to get an education at the higher education level, have opportunities, and they're looking at all of our institutions as one. They register with one, they can take credit on a space available basis courses at any of those other institutions and have them transfer back. The ultimate idea, obviously, is to make sure that we have infinite opportunities for students, opportunities that are unique that they're not going to be able to find anywhere else at this point in time. Again, that ultimately this is a model that the rest of the nation looks at and says, that works. That makes a lot of sense.
Well, I think it sounds like a big, huge, big, hairy, audacious goal to resurrect a term from the past. Yes. And I'm thinking, as a legislator, if we came up with this big, audacious goal and then told the locals to do it, they'd say, oh, we can't do it. It's too cumbersome. It's too this. It's nice to see this big an idea come from the locals and to have you say that implementation, while not perfect, it doesn't look to be a huge problem, right?
I think one of the things that Lori said was that the stars have aligned. We have the right people in the right place right now who are not only working well together, we genuinely like each other, and we really share this goal. This has been the #1 initiative that we've been talking about for the 2 years that we've been meeting, so we're committed to it. We'll find a way.
Other question? Sharon?
Thank you, Sharon Hillstrom with the Bradenton Area Economic Development Corporation. I want to commend you on your entrepreneurial spirit. I just think it's outstanding. And I'm so excited about this. This is kind of like a dream come true for me, because when we're out talking with companies, when we're recruiting, we always talked about you as one. And now the fact that you're really doing it, it just is such a powerful statement. So thank you for having the courage to do something like this and to also be a way for us to set ourselves apart from everybody else in the country. I just think it's tremendous. The other thing I think is really, really important about this is the fact that I think we'll be able to retain more of our talent now. You have this real strong concentration of higher ed all coming together. There will be a real connection for those students to stay here because we'll be attracting more companies here, more companies will expand, which will provide more opportunities for those students that you're graduating from the multiversity. So thank you so much for coming together. Really, really appreciate it.
Dr. Stone, do you want to comment on that from your experience in Georgia and all the regional economic development?
Yeah, I wanted to, as well as having some benefits for students, I wanted to talk a minute about the faculty, because I think what we've talked about among ourselves is trying to find some ways that our faculty can collaborate as well and look for some grant opportunities that we can bring to the region for research projects that will involve faculty across the institutions and also students who want to work along with those faculty. But our hope is that we can start to have some shared projects that we can come together around that will also demonstrate the impact of our collective expertise and be able to work toward solutions to problems that we have in our region that we've been struggling with. So I think there are opportunities there as well. And some of the things that, Dean, you were asking, what will this look like 5 years down the road? I mean, I think one thing that we've already started to work on is how we can share resources for emergency response in case there is some emergency on one of our campuses, how we could all come together and help each other out. And we had a joint training of our emergency response teams in November, and we'll have some additional ones. But there's some real practical, like daily operational kind of things that we can benefit from as well.
Anyone else want to comment on it?
Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Shelby Webb. I'm with the Sarasota Herald Tribune. So I would like to know, I know we have our local college leaders here, but I'd like to know a little more about Eckerd College's involvement. Will they be involved with the cross-registration? I know that they've already come down and shared some of their expertise in emergency services and FEMA and all of that. good stuff, but just sort of wondering how they're going to fit into this.
Kelly's here from Eckerd, if you want to comment at all.
President Eastman apologizes that he can't be here, and Donald's been in more conversations directly with President Eastman. I think this conversation about a free trade zone for courses has been something that's gone on since Donald's been here, and I know that President Eastman, specifically with President O'Shea, have a great relationship. Eckerd is probably nationally the best undergraduate institution for marine science education, and I think that's been part of the primary area of conversation right now on that topic. I think one area that Lori and I particularly have been having conversations is also in the area of lifelong learning and how that integrates with higher education as well, that we continue to have these conversations with Sarasota-based organizations. And I know on USF's campus with Dr. Stone, there is the large lifelong learning program that we look to continue to collaborate with as well. But Eckerd is very excited to be a part of this consortium, and we hope as soon as possible that free trade agreement includes Eckerd as well. But maybe Donald, you can add to that as well.
We'd also, so marine science was an area, our faculties have met in gender studies and sociology. There's quite a large group there. Eckerd was very interested when we were talking of putting together a joint computer science initiative, and that didn't get funded, but that will come back. We'd also, one thing we don't have in the area, it's difficult, New College has most of the languages in the area, but Eckerd has some we don't have. One is Arabic, which is important to students. If they're going to take a role. We teach Chinese. We've talked about and are looking for ways that we could share those courses, and of course have students enroll in them. But that's those are classes that are expensive. They don't have a lot of students. You want them in the area because you want our students trained here to be able to deal internationally with things. Portuguese is another one, and so. The liberal arts places tend to have more of the languages, so they're a natural collaborator there as well.
Shelby, did you have another question? Yes, sure.
It's me again. So I was talking with the Five Colleges Consortium, which Dawn used to be a part of, and they said one of the most important things to getting this sort of a program to work is to get the faculty to buy in. And while I know they're probably excited about a lot of the academic and research opportunities, you know, some of it, cross-registration might sound like, oh, is this going to be extra work, you know, stuff like that. So what are your plans to get faculty really involved and excited in this new process?
Maybe Larry or Carol? Carol, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, faculty have been part of this discussion, as we said when we first started meeting. We've invited provosts to be part of it. We've been having this discussion as time has gone on. I'd also like to point out, though, that not everything that we do involves all of the institutions. We're already doing programs back and forth between different colleges within the C4 group. For example, USF has just come back on the campus at the State College of Florida in Venice. So we're trying to create seamless pathways for students on that campus to complete a 4-year degree in one location in the south part of Sarasota County. So there are a lot of those conversations already happening. It's not like it's something we have to start today. Speaking for the faculty at the State College of Florida, we enjoy the interaction that we've had with faculty at the other institutions. And I think Dean Eisner asked the question, what do we expect to see? I think 5 years from now, when we have faculty from such distinctly different institutions working together, we're going to see innovations that we've never seen before, because they're just talking from different perspectives, and it opens up all types of possibilities. From my perspective, again, at the State College of Florida, this is an energizing moment in time for faculty.
Let me add to that as well. One of the things about faculty is that their interests and their what they really are bonded to is their discipline. Okay. So it's not necessarily just the institution, but it's much more about the discipline in which they teach. And the opportunity for them to be with other colleagues in similar disciplines is really what I think brings it possible for them, and not to look at it in the negative light, but much more in the positive light. The other thing is something that Donald alluded to about the 5 years hence, which is that the other concept, in addition to the cross-registration idea, is looking at the potential of us creating a course as a multiversity or a major as a multiversity. And so this was a proposal around computer science and computer programming, which is something that we need on our campus, but we don't want to develop an entire program and curriculum because of the cost of it. But then if we could share into it and have the faculty members teaching at different places, it would be just a wonderful, wonderful concept. Now, I have to tell you, there's like huge bureaucratic things you can imagine, okay, about that. But we are committed to this. I mean, the first time we mentioned cross-registration to some of our folks at our campuses in the registrar's office, for example, they went, "You got to be crazy. Okay, what the heck are you thinking?" But then we started going through it and explaining it, and it took some persuasion, but nonetheless, they're on board, they're with it, and we're committed to making it happen. So.
This is our last question, if that's okay.
Congratulations, Steve Couillard from the Greater Sarasota Chamber. I remember the street banners. We are a college town, and where you've taken this now, the opportunity and potential is limitless. Playing back from Dean's 5-year horizon and the visionary things you've already talked about, I wonder about 5 weeks from now and 5 months from now. And just two things, I don't know if anyone would comment. You're already involved. We have to get the people from high school to post-secondary institutions. And so there's a college access network that's come together with all your participation that literally in January and February is going to be helping students fill out their financial aid forms and so forth. And the more that grows, I think the more we can feed into your institutions. And then to the brain drain issue of trying to keep folks wherever they grew up as a kid and going to your great institutions here for the economic development in the workforce. You do great things in internship. If there's any opportunity or comments on taking internships to the multi-university level as opposed to great individual programs, they'd be most appreciated too.
Dr. Stone?
Yeah, I think that's something else that we definitely have talked about exploring. If we could have like a clearinghouse or something like that where we could have a single point of contact. And I think already our career services people have been meeting together and they've been doing some work together. So that's definitely one thing that we can take a look at. And so I think we're on it.
Steve, would you like to comment, especially on the next 5 years? What do you think might be happening?
Well, the Ringley Museum is a little bit of an outlier in this group, but we do represent FSU, and FSU does have a growing footprint within this community, both with the museum. We've added 2 graduate programs this year, and we'll be continuing to add graduate programs, but also with the medical college and with the Oslo Repertory Theater, one of the top graduate programs in theater training in the country. So. But the museum has always been a collaborative institution, and we collaborate with these guys all the time. And so we've been a part of this group, and we really see our role here over the next 5 years as really sort of a convener. We're the campus of this distributed university. We're the place where students can gather throughout all the institutions and come to a concert, celebrate an event, go to a phenomenal exhibition. And so over the next 5 years, from our perspective, we really hope to be able to take advantage of all the great resources that we have here, be able to integrate the museum and our growing academic programs here, and our pretty substantial research staff that we have, in the academic life of this community.
Thank you very much.
Well, I don't think you'd call it taking charge. I think what I've joined the team that's been working together over the last 2 years, which include provosts on the campus, which include obviously the presidents and their leadership. So what I think I'm coming in to do is to take their ideas and the mission they've already set, this idea of maximizing the benefits, and take those ideas and work with their staffs to work out the logistics. How do we do it? How do we do a cross-registration program? How about the co-branding? Who is our market? Well, how can we get more of our students to stay here? How does it play into our message with our employers? So I see myself here as a person that can be that initiative manager, take those ideas that are already there, well developed, and take them forward. And I see many more ideas will come in the future. Success will breed that. Well, I think first you have the six institutions that have come together. They've spent their personal time putting this together. As I said, they probably had lots of other things they could be doing, but they decided that this collaboration could make all of them, that sum of the parts is going to be a much bigger whole here. So I think that that enthusiasm that's been going on for several years. So what's happened is there's been relationships and trust built between the organizations, and not only at the presidential level, but beyond. So I think you've got a platform to go forward. You also now have the EDCs that have come in, and they say, oh, this is fabulous. This is a great message. And so I think the opportunity to really build on that is what we've got. And if we do it well and consistently, I think it can become a cornerstone, a point of pride for this region that will benefit students and their parents, because they can stay here, they can work here, they might have a more economical education, but a top quality one. I'd say, yes, we are a university town, and we need to own up to that and maximize it in every way we can.
It's important for SCF to be involved in this initiative because at the core of our mission and our strategic plan is creating infinite opportunities for students. This consortium will create unique opportunities for our students that you won't find anywhere else in the country. This is a consortium of institutions that are also uniquely different. We have a community college, we have a very specialized technical program with Ringling College, we have a nationally recognized liberal arts institution with New College, and we have a branch university campus. We're all completely different. Most consortiums you'll find are of like institutions. We're unique because we're completely different institutions, and it's when you navigate uncharted territory that it gets very energizing and will have the greatest possible rewards. Those rewards will be for our students, our community, and our employers. Well, creating, again, opportunities for students when they have the opportunity to cross-register. A student may be studying at the State College of Florida to get their AA transfer and go somewhere else, but the opportunity to come to New College and dabble in a course that they couldn't get at the State College of Florida, or to take a language that we don't offer at the State College of Florida, will give them a broader perspective from which they're going to transfer and go somewhere else. It will help them identify where their passions are. It will just give those opportunities that make this area attractive to students to come from anywhere. So not only our students, our market are typically students who start here, who live here. New College and Ringling and USF, a lot of those students come from elsewhere. But the ultimate goal is to get those students opportunities so they want to stay here and be part of this community and contribute these amazing talents that they're getting from their higher education environment back to this area. Well, I think the collaboration is key to workforce development because, one, it gives our EDCs and our chambers the opportunity to talk to current employers and prospective employers coming to this area about this unique concept of higher education that we have. But I think also, very importantly, it will create the connections between our students and the other institutions and the community that we wouldn't otherwise get as individual institutions. And when you create those connections, you have a much stronger ability and possibility of keeping those students and that talent in this area. Well, this is an incredible opportunity for this area. As I said previously, this is a moment in time that is so energizing that everything about what we're trying to do is a win-win-win. There is nothing about it that would give anybody any reason to say, no, I don't want to be part of that. This is something that will reach students, it will reach families, it will reach employers, it will reach our community in general. It's a win-win-win. State College of Florida is very proud to be part of this really unique consortium and collaboration, and we look forward to seeing what we can make happen in the next 5 years.
One of the ideas of this consortium of colleges on the Creative Coast is the idea that we have so many institutions of higher education here, and if you look at it collectively and holistically, it is the equivalent of having a major research university with almost 20,000 students. But people don't look at it that way because they look at the institutions separately. And so by being able to really start to change the paradigm of how higher education is viewed in this community, we are really a major higher education community. And that's a great thing for economic development for the community, because the first question out of any business's mind is, what's the workforce like? And so with this, we're able to show how highly educated our workforce is here in Sarasota. And then the second part is it's a great benefit for the students who are attending these institutions, because one of the first plans that we have is to have students be able to cross-register so that they're able to take courses at one institution and have credit given for the courses that they take at another one that's part of this consortium. So it's a very much a win-win-win. Well, one of the initiatives as part of this, and one of the early ones we want to do, which is really a big, hairy, audacious idea, and that is this cross-registration. So a student at one institution can take courses at another institution and get credit back at their home institution. So, for example, one of the things at Ringling College, for example, is that we do not have foreign languages as part of our curriculum. So here they're able to go to New College or to Eckerd or to USF Sarasota Manatee and take foreign language courses very easily. Or students at New College may want to take an art course at Ringling College. Because what happens is with these 6 institutions, they each have their own individual niche, their own individual mission and goals. And so we don't really compete with each other. So that's a huge advantage in making this really possible, because, you know, we are an art school. New College is a liberal arts school, and you have USF Sarasota Manatee, which is a major regional branch college, and then you have State College of Florida that's primarily a 2-year college. So it really is a great combination of higher education institutions that can work very well collaboratively together. Right, so yeah, a number of things that we have on the horizon. We are just in the process of beginning construction on our new soundstage and professional post-production studio. And so with our film program, students at another institution might be able to take some of those film courses and use those facilities, and vice versa. So we have that on the horizon. We have a brand new major library that's under construction right now, and then we're also going to be breaking ground on Friday for our new Visual Arts Center, which will be glass and ceramics and so on and so forth on the campus.
We have excellent higher education institutions, and for them to start working together and provide some innovation, some new courses that'll cross institutional boundaries for students, it'll set us apart from other areas in the country, and it'll become a very competitive advantage for us. Well, the seed of this happened 2 years ago when there was a big transition in leadership with the college presidents and university presidents, and they wanted to get to know each other better. And as they got to know each other better, they realized that they could have a good working relationship. And that's so important in our region for major leaders to have a good relationship with one another. And we have that with all these college and university presidents. And then from that point on, it filters down into their institutions and then out into the region. So it's a wonderful, wonderful thing for our community. Absolutely. The way we see it is the students are going to benefit coming out of high school to have options to go to maybe one institution but take courses at others. For the faculty, they get to collaborate with other institutions, so there'll be a synergy that takes place that we don't usually have in a region. And then for these university presidents to rub shoulders with business leaders and say, look what we're offering in our region that could attract new businesses. It's a win-win-win for everyone. And then for the foundations, the funders, we're always looking for something innovative that'll push our region forward. So for all of us to work together, it's fabulous.